Hello, friends. Good morning. Happy Wednesday morning. I know that Trisha's on scoping right now, and I just hate to jump on when somebody else is on, but you know how it goes in motherhood. You have this little window, and you just got to jump on when you have a chance. So let me flip the camera around and say hello. Hey, people. Good morning. Good morning, friends. How's everybody doing? Glad to see you all here. Hope everybody's having a fine Wednesday morning. My name is Lena Sutherland. I'm a homeschool mom to 7. You can find me on the internet at all kinds of places under Homeschooling Without Training Wheels, HSWO Training Wheels. My blog is hswotrainingwheels.com, and I'm on Instagram and Facebook at hswo training wheels. So yesterday, I was on in the morning. Oh, here comes the toddler. Come here, baby. Let's see if we can get through this with the toddler. Apparently, he just got himself up from his nap. So, yesterday I was on in the morning, and I was talking about how we as adults need to think differently about our skill sets and about our strengths and our weaknesses. And so, Melissa was listening in. And Melissa, if you're watching this, I want you to do a follow-up scope too, because I think you have more thoughts than I do on this, because I kind of took it in a different direction than maybe what you were thinking. But I wanted to follow up and just share 3 quick points about our kids and their gifts and what makes them the way they are, and how we help them to find their gifts and how we help them to make use of their gifts. Excuse me for just a second. Emma! Go see Emma. Come get Joey. Toddler got himself up from his nap right in the middle of scoping. That's how it goes, right? Okay, so the 3 things I wanted to say today were having to do with helping our children find their gifts, find what they're good at, and realize their purpose in life, their goal in life. And I think one of the things that stresses us out as parents, which relates to what I was talking about yesterday, is that we're concerned, there are things that I'm not good at. There are things that are not strengths for me. And so I'm going to, just accept for myself that that's not something I'm good at. I'm probably not ever going to be strong in that area. And then what if that affects my children, though? What if I'm not good at music and that limits my children's opportunity? Or what if I'm not good at math? And, that's something that my children are really going to excel in. And so if you're struggling with those kind of fears or thoughts, then this is for you, because I've been thinking about these very same things. So the first thing that I wanted to point out is that we are all different as adults, right? We're all different. We're all diverse. We're all unique individuals. And we're okay with that, right? We're okay with, maybe we're working towards being okay with all being different, with each of us being unique and having different gifts and things like that. But, hi, Amy, the more that we come to terms with who we are as moms, we also need to understand that who we are as moms and how we're different is going to have an effect on our children and how they turn out, and that's okay. I mean, if my strengths and weaknesses shape how my children turn out, that's not a bad thing. God gave... My mom would always say, God gave you exactly the children he meant for you to have. And then she would always say, and God gave these children exactly the mommy that he meant for them to have, right? So God knew when he gave these children to me that I have certain strengths and weaknesses. And I really believe that part of how he's going to shape them to be who he wants them to be and how he wants them to serve is by choosing to put them in my family, even knowing my weaknesses, and also knowing what my strengths and my gifts are, and that he's going to use those circumstances to help to shape their gifts, their interests, and the things that they decide to pursue. So we're different as adults. That means that the children we raise are going to be different from each other, and that's okay too. Toddler's melting down a little bit. We'll see. I think sister's trying to give him a banana. Okay, the second thing that I wanted to remind you of, and this is kind of obvious, but I want you to think about it. Gifts are general, okay? So, I think we have this fear of what if my child has this secret talent for, underwater basket weaving. And I never give him an opportunity to try underwater basket weaving. And so we never figure out that he's going to be like the Guinness Book of World Records holder on underwater basket weaving. Well, of course, gifts are given in a general way, right? Somebody might be inclined towards the arts, or might be more mathematically minded, or might be, yeah, right. And if that's your thing, that's awesome. So, but gifts develop in categories, right? So I have a daughter right now who is doing all kinds of knitting stuff, which is fantastic because I don't knit at all. Like, I'm not a craft kind of person at all. I don't even have a bullet journal, okay? Don't unfollow me, but I don't have a planner. I don't use planners. Washi tape is confusing to me. Wonky tape. I like Lori's word for it, wonky tape. I don't do any of that stuff. That's just not my vibe. But my daughter is totally into knitting, and right now she's in the process of filling orders for family members for coasters that she's knitting, and she's tying them up in ribbon and doing it all pretty, and I'm pretty sure by the time she's a teenager she's going to have an Etsy account. That's not my thing at all, but she's been able to develop that without, me having those gifts. And what we did was we just said, okay, in general, she seems to enjoy these kinds of things, so let's try some things like that. Now, we've never exposed her to underwater basket weaving, but, I don't think that there's just this, like, one tiny pinpoint of a dot of calling and purpose that everybody has in their life, and unless they hit that dot right in the center, then they've just missed their calling, and they're not going to be fulfilled, and they're not going to be using their gifts the way that they're, called to do it. I think that, we can have general kind of categories of gifting, and that we can find purpose and satisfaction and fulfillment in using those gifts in some way that relates to that general category. So, like with my daughter, I mean, I'm sure there's other things she could do besides knitting, and I'm sure she'll have opportunity over the course of her life to explore other things. But I don't think that she's suffering or lacking right now from, just doing knitting and mommy not having a lot of craft experience. And there's always YouTube. Okay, so 1, different parents are going to produce different kids. That's okay. 2, gifts are general, right? There's not some like secret clue out there to the one perfect thing that each person is supposed to do in life that we're in danger of missing if we don't let them try a bazillion things throughout their childhood. And 3, and this is the one that was kind of surprising to me, too many choices is actually not always a good thing for a kid. And the way that I came about thinking on this is, I've talked before about how I experienced some difficulty with postpartum depression after my 5th baby, and again during my 7th pregnancy, and all for the first year after that. And I found, yes, exactly, limitation with choices. So I found a book that was extremely helpful to me. It was called, the book that I had was called Depression, A Stubborn Darkness, and I think the author has done a new edition that has a slightly different title, like Depression, Looking Up from the Stubborn Darkness, or something like that. But anyway, he talks about why there's so much struggle with depression in our culture today. You want to come sit with mommy again? All right, come here. You have a book, huh? Okay. And one of the things he said is that in our society, we have an overwhelming number of choices. Amy Milsick says hello to you. Can you say hi? Say hi. So, it used to be, say, in the Middle Ages, your dad was a blacksmith, so you were going to grow up and be a blacksmith. Or, your dad was the lord of the manor, and you were going to grow up and take over that role after him. And I'm not saying that that's the way it ought to be, or that if we could just go back to the golden ages, that we'd be all good. But, I think there's a balance to be struck there. I mean, I'm thankful that my husband, he's a business analyst. He has a, corporate America job in a cubicle. He loves it. That I don't think that's what my son wants to do when he grows up. So I'm glad that my son has other choices. But I don't think that the answer is to put a million choices in front of our child. And, sometimes we say, oh, honey, you could do anything you want to do when you grow up. You could be anything you want to be. And I think perhaps, it's more helpful for us to say, you seem like the kind of kid who really enjoys, working with your hands or working outside, or you seem to be the kind of person who really enjoys thinking up new ideas and creating things. And just to help them think in broad categories, and then, find things within that broad category that are, that they enjoy and that are good at, helps them to think, I think it helps them to follow their interests and personality plus learning style. Right. Yes. So the three things I wanted to say today were mostly just for the sake of helping us as moms to kind of get off that freak out mountain about, what if there's some secret thing out there, like some hidden talent that my child has that I'm never going to uncover, because I'm not like involving them in every single program or class that they ever could be in, and I'm just going to miss that one secret gift that they have. And I really don't think that's how it works. I think we're going to see, that that their gifts come in categories, and that we're going to see the categories of interest that they're demonstrating and be able to go from there. So yeah, I know this one is helping mommy to decide that it's time to end the scope. So, all right, thank you all for dropping in, and I will catch you later.